Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It has come to my attention that I have a disease in my plant room. A plant disease that can wipe out my entire collection. So I've done some research. However much of it is true, I have no idea, but you know what? Google said it was true, so it must be true. So, grab yourself a nice beverage while we go into things that I did not know about. And honestly, it's something that, this is the kind of video that I do not usually do on my channel, but I might as well share my knowledge if you do not already know this. But it was one of my awesome and incredibly smart and knowledgeable subscribers that had informed me about this. So now I'm gonna inform everyone else that wants to watch. I don't know. So grab yourself a beverage while we do a whole bunch of talking. But first, if you're new here, hi, I'm Emily. Sammy and Harley are sitting in the sun here. Oh, you can hear her tail. Here's Sammy, and Harley is over by the door. You want to peek out so they can see you? Not my coffee. There she is. She's sunbathing. Oh, thank you. I don't need any kisses. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, let me show you the accused / infected. Is my Soderoy. And let me show you. I thought I got incredibly lucky and just got like a 1 in a million variegated Soderoy. Yeah, no. I'm never that lucky. I am not that lucky, but here she is. You can see. This will be important later when I talk about the symptoms, but yeah, yeah. So let's get into it. I don't want to put you right there, you're too close. With my coffee. Here. There we go. Now she's right there and you can see her. Okay, so I took notes because I cannot remember this stuff off the top of my head. So if you see me looking down, it's my notes. Just don't worry about it. It's fine. No one's perfect, okay? And I definitely am not. So, another little disclaimer. This is just the research I have done. Do your own research. If you think your plants are affected, do your own research and then make an informed decision from there. When I had received the first initial comment, I went down a Reddit wormhole. Okay, and that was when it was like, this looks exactly like those, and those are infected, and there was a whole bunch of infected ones that got on the market. Okay, I'm not gonna take any chances with my entire collection. We're gonna separate. And so now she's been just on my coffee table until I've done more research and figured out what I wanted to do with her. So this is the disease slash virus. It is a mosaic disease. Some sources call it mosaic virus, others call it mosaic disease. It's probably the same thing. There's like there's a whole bunch of different just strands of this disease, and it causes havoc it wreaks havoc on everything. All kinds of plants, all kinds of crops, all kinds of stuff. So what is it actually? So mosaic disease is a parasite that can and will destroy your plants down to a molecular level. That is a lot of big words. Basically, it does bad things. It's bad. So it typically affects crops like beans, tobacco, tomatoes, potatoes, pumpkins. I even saw an example that it affects roses, which I didn't know that, but now I do. But it does affect more than 150 different types of plants slash crops. So how to identify it? So due to the bunch of different strands or strains of the mosaic virus, the symptoms can differ between plants and how it affects said plants, their age, things like that. It's not an exact science, but that's mainly due to just how many different types of this virus that there is. So that's where she comes back into play. This variegation looking, that is a symptom. Unfortunately, all the yellows, the dark greens, light greens, that's why it's called a mosaic disease, because it looks like a mosaic, if you know art. And so there's that. Also, stunted growth or growing poorly in general. Now, I did have 3 vines on this, but they were all very, very rooted. If you saw the video where I put this on this pole, and look at that, there's a dead one right here. This one died. So, and then other deformities. They can have their other deformities on their leaves, or crinkled or wavy leaves. This one didn't even form correctly, and it's kind of that variegation. This one had a whole chunk taken out of it. I didn't do that. Let's see. This leaf right here isn't even unfurling, and there's that one, and then this one, I guess technically this one is new growth. So that one's the newest growth, and you can even see on here just how affected this plant is. And this. And twisted or deformed young growth. So yeah, I would say she's affected. And that brings me to the next thing. How to treat it once your plant is infected. All right, sit down for this. And don't freak out. There is no treatment. There's no treatment. Once your plant is infected, it will stay infected and can affect all the plants that it's around, that comes in contact with. You can even spread it by if you chop the plants and then don't clean your shears and then chop something else. So if that's why I'm just being overly cautious, and I'm going to dispose of this plant. I am not going to try and keep it and grow it, just in a different part of my room. I'm not doing that. I do not want to take the chance of it infecting my entire collection. It has officially been a year that I have kept houseplants, and I do not want a year of my hard work to, just disappear, because I would have to get rid of everything, and honestly, I'd probably have to burn everything just to be completely safe, so that it doesn't affect the other plants that are in my ecosystem. So honestly, I'm gonna burn it. That is how I'm going to dispose of this. And that is because I'm not in the country, but I'm not in the city either. And there is, farmland around me. And I do not want this plant to potentially, I can't even talk, potentially infect the crops that are in my area. Because I am in the Midwest, it is a bunch of just farmland and crops and everything like that. And I do not want to destroy my ecosystem. Potentially. So. And that's another thing. If you have a soderoy and you've never cut it, it can be dormant until it's cut or propagated or anything like that. So you may not even know that you have it. It's not until it's cut or propagated that it can show signs of the actual symptoms. And that's even the worst part. And I know I said it before, but so don't quote me on this. It was something that I had seen, I think on Reddit. It was on Reddit when I had first, started freaking out about potentially having a disease in my collection. And I had seen on Reddit that there was a whole batch of soderoys in possibly India that were infected with it, and they got onto the market. Instead of being destroyed like they should have been, they would have, the responsible thing to do would have been to destroy it, because I'm pretty sure that's what they do with crops that become infected with this. is they burn them, they destroy them. And unfortunately that did not happen with these soderoys, and so they made it to the market, and you know, through propagation, selling of cuttings, selling of plants, it's probably very, very widespread by now. And that is completely unfortunate because of the fact that the soderoy is such a beautiful plant that now I am afraid to get another soderoy. I do not think I am going to get another one. And that's just something that happens when you have, you know, irresponsible. Okay, I don't want to say irresponsible. Maybe uninformed growers or cultivators that, you know, bring these plants onto the market. And yeah, this is something that can wipe out your entire collection. And I know there are people who have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in their collection, not to mention, you know, years and years of time in growing these plants, and it's very unfortunate that, you know, this thing happened. But just the moral of this video is, if you have a variegated soderoy, do your research and see if it's actually variegated or if it's this mosaic disease. Because like I said, I thought I got super, super lucky and got a variegated soderoy, and it's not. It is infected, and there's nothing I can do about it. I essentially wasted, you know, however much money I spent on this plant, but I would rather waste the, let's say, $20 that I spent on this plant instead of the thousands that I have spent on my entire collection. Because if I had to rebuild my collection from scratch, I wouldn't. I don't think I would. And that's just me. And so I don't want to take that chance because I really like my plants. I love my plant room. And I don't want to start over. I have put way too much blood, sweat, and tears into this plant room, into, you know, my collection. I'm not going to take that risk. But enough with me blabbering on. Like I said, this is just the little bit of research that I personally did. I am definitely going to keep doing research, but I wanted to make this video before I got rid of this plant, and I do not want to keep this plant in my plant room anymore. So I just went ahead, threw some information together so that I could share it with you guys and get this video out here so I can burn this plant. And that sounds so harsh and like so bad to say, but I am burning this plant. I'm probably gonna have a lot of mean comments about burning a living thing, but I want to reiterate, I have farmland around me. I have crops around me. I have livestock around me, okay? I have no idea what would happen to said livestock, cows, goats, pigs, horses, okay? If this plant were to potentially infect the crops that said livestock eat, okay? Horses, pigs, cows. I didn't even say sheep, but there might be sheep around here. Goats. They all eat corn and grain and, you know, things like wheat and things like that that are grown usually on said farmer's land. And usually said farmer has livestock to accompany their crops. Not always, but sometimes. And I have no idea what would happen if said crops were infected and then fed to livestock. But I am not going to take that chance. Not going to do it. So I will be burning it. It is just the responsible thing to do, because if you burn something, it will not get broken or root in the trash or whatever. It will not root and grow and potentially infect everything else in your ecosystem. So, just want to put that out there. I'm probably still gonna get, you know, mean comments or uninformed comments about destroying living things, but that is just the way that the world works, especially in farming. If you have crops or plants that get infected with a disease that cannot be treated, they will burn the whole crop just so that nothing else gets infected, their animals don't get infected, the possible other crops that they have in, you know, different fields, those don't get infected when they feed it to their, so that they can still feed it to their animals, sell it at the farmer's market, whatever. So there we go. My spiel is over. But again, do your own research. And yeah, that is gonna be it for this video. It was kind of a chaotic video. I feel like I repeated myself a lot of times. If I did, I'm sorry. But it's fine. It's fine. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.